fab room and I'm going to put on some protective eyewear over my regular glasses. I can either use these nice safety glasses that we've just ordered a bunch more of, or I can use my prescription eyewear. Now I'm ready for the fab room. I'm going to take a pair of nitrile gloves to protect me against any organic solvents that I'm working with. But it's important to consider that any time you spill an organic solvent on the glove, it could be eating through the gloves. So you want to immediately remove the glove and get a new pair. You'll notice that we have a chemical fume hood to protect us from any chemical vapors from the organic solvents that we're working with. We also have this nice waste disposal system in the hood, which is now contained in a secondary container, and all of the many of the bottles are also contained in a secondary container within the hood in case something should spill. We've also lowered the hood sash height from its original height to provide more protection. When this carboy is full, we're going to be transferring it to this other carboy here, which is for non-halogenated waste. All white carboys are for non-halogenated waste. Now, should you forget what a halogen is, you can always look in your pocket periodic table, which is probably located within your wallet. Proud to be a chemist. The halogens are located here on the periodic table. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, etc. If you should forget your wallet when you're in the fab room, which is likely, we also have it posted on the wall for you. Non-halogenated solvents are those that do not contain the halogens, such as acetone, acetonitrile, hexane, IPA, also called isopropyl alcohol, methanol, toluene, and the SU8 developer, which I've written its chemical name out here. Solvents that contain halogens include chloroform and methylene chloride, which both contain chlorine, and also fluorinated oils, which contain fluorine, and any fluorinated silanes that you might be working with. It's important to leave the fluorinated silanes in the hood overnight so that the reagent is properly quenched before it's added into the carboy. In addition, we want to make sure that we don't put anything that's still reactive in the carboy, and we certainly don't want to be putting anything that's not an organic solvent in the carboy. For example, you would not want to be putting nitric acid into your carboy. Nitric acid is an oxidizer and can react with organic solvents and combust readily and cause a fire.
Kaboom!
Should you spill chemical on you, you're going to be needing to use a safety shower. Safety showers are located here, and they're designated by this yellow and green sign on the wall. In order to use the safety shower, stand underneath the shower and push the lever here. This will dump a large amount of water onto you to rinse off any chemicals. It's also important to strip off any clothing that may be contaminated with chemicals while you're standing underneath the safety shower. We also have an emergency eye wash here, should you spill something in your eyes. In order to use the eye wash, just pull down on the unit and water will come out. It's important to remember to take off any eyewear before using the eye wash. Keep your eyes wide open and let them flush for at least 15 minutes. It's going to feel like a really long time when you have cold water rushing over your eyes. So the other safety showers and eye washes are located outside the milling room at the entrance to the Freedom Lab. Here we have another safety shower and another eye wash. We have another safety shower and eye wash located in the main entrance to the main lab, and as well inside the lab. Or you keep going. Also within the lab, we have a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher, which is for Class B and C fires. Basically, you can use this on anything except for your classic paper or wood burning fire. This will basically squirt out carbon dioxide, and the reason you wouldn't want to use that on a paper fire is that it can spread the paper all around, spreading the fire to other parts of the room. This fire extinguisher is fine to use on an electrical fire and also on a chemical fire, such as a solvent fire. Outside the lab, we also have a dry powder fire extinguisher, which is often blocked by this auto-claim container, but just puts it out of the way in an emergency. And this is good for Class A, B, and C fires, meaning that it can be used on any fire that you might have in the lab, including a paper fire. There are additional fire extinguishers located in the office space. One thing to consider when you are encountering a lab fire is that you are in no way required to use a fire extinguisher to put out the fire. Only use a fire extinguisher if you feel comfortable doing so and if you do not feel that you're putting yourself in danger. The main thing to think of when there's a lab fire is to get out of the building as fast as possible, to warn other people to do the same thing by pulling the fire alarm and calling 911. So if you ever spill a chemical in the laboratory, you can use our spill kit, which is located under each of the sinks in the lab as well as in the fab room. Here's the spill kit, and this spill kit is certified to be used on spills with acids, bases, oils, and solvents. We also have a first aid kit for any first aid needs. For any serious emergencies, it's important to talk to your doctor or go to the emergency room, conveniently located right next door. So now we're in the chemistry room, and if you ever have a halogenated solvent, you're going to need to come into this room to dispose of it, because this is the room where we have the yellow carboy. The yellow carboy is for halogenated solvents, as indicated with this convenient label. And the white carboy, as I mentioned previously, is for non-halogenated solvents. There is also a white carboy in the fab room. Whenever you're working with these solvent carboys, whenever you're adding waste to them, it's important to be wearing your safety glasses. If you're working with large amounts of waste, a lab coat is also recommended. And I'd also recommend that you double glove. Wear 2 pairs of nitrile gloves. That way, when you spill solvent on the top glove, you can quickly remove it and your skin is protected by the second glove. Once again, nitrile gloves are not recommended for long-term solvent exposure. Another thing to add is that we have a lot of other chemicals in this room, such as acids and bases, things that we use typically around this pH meter station. I just want to reiterate that under no circumstances should acids ever be placed in the yellow or white carboys. These carboys are strictly for solvent only. Thank you. So there are several different laboratory waste receptacles to consider, and I have 3 of them sitting right in front of me. So a sharp item such as a pipette that could puncture a normal trash bag or another bag should be put inside of the glass disposal, which can also be used for broken glass. This particular pipette has just been used to pipette media and has not been used for human cell lines. Human cell line work needs to be bleached before it can be thrown away. Other items, such as a Pasteur pipette that may have been used, for example, for human cell line work in the hood, should first be bleached and then disposed of into this red container right here. This red container can also be used for sharps. And in this case, we're not going to resheathe the needle because that could put us in contact with the needle again. We'll simply dispose of the sharp as it is. Other items that aren't sharp but have been used for cell line work, such as this Coulter flask, which has already been bleached overnight, can be disposed of into the orange biosafety hazard bag. Any work with human blood specimens follows slightly different rules and will be covered in another video. For other applications, such as work with organic solvents, you may want to wear a lab coat. For blood work, a lab coat is absolutely required. Lab coat provides an extra layer of protection against any chemicals or biological samples that might spill on you, and also enables you to take off the lab coat quickly and remove any other contamination.
sexy and I know it.
Another thing to consider when working in a chemistry or biology lab is that long hair can sometimes get in the way, cause contamination of your sample, or be a safety hazard if working with organic solvents. It's a good idea